Good evening, guys. This is Black and Indigenous American. And once again, I am happy to be here with you guys. I'm trying to figure out how I can actually send a message to my subscribers that I'm about to go live so you can at least have a little bit of leeway. But anyway, so this video, I went to a powwow, Eastern Shore, Eastern Shore, Maryland, not too far from Ocean City. And it was pretty good. First time I was there, I went to the powwow both days because it was Saturday and Sunday. And I learned quite a bit about this group of people. They are linked to the Nanacoke people. I may be mispronouncing the name. Let me see if I can find a little bit more information about them. Nanacoke. Yeah, Nanticoke. They're a band of the Nanticoke people. Naticoke. This group that I'm referring to, they are, I'm trying to remember the was it Nawa? I struggled with this. Let's see. It was in Vienna, Maryland. So it was Dorchester County. And that was last weekend. And they had two drum groups, and I was familiar with one of the drum groups because I've seen them before a few times. The group of people that I'm talking about that are linked to the Nanacoke people, this band is called Nasi Wawash Band of Indians. That's what they call themselves. They're descendants of the local Nanticoke Indians. And that's all I have to say about that group because I don't know much about them. Again, this is my first time attending this particular powwow. I did go on a tour of this longhouse that was built. And this longhouse was like a replica of what it would have looked like back in the day, pre-colonial times. And that was pretty cool. So I did that Sunday morning. I really appreciated the opportunity to actually go to that location. It wasn't that far from the powwow grounds. So that was pretty cool. I don't do a lot of powwowing like I used to. I've said this before. But I definitely enjoyed going on that little tour. And I took a picture of, let's see, I took a picture of the longhouse and things of that nature. But this region that I'm talking about or I'm referring to was called Chicone Village. That's Chicone. I think it's pronounced Chicone, or it might be Chicone. Chicone Village. Let's see. Yeah. And the individual that was very much involved in this project, I've met him before, and he's very, 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 very committed to preserving the culture and everything like that. I just wasn't sure which tribal community he was from or whatever, but I've seen him before, and I've seen him at powwows where he shows weaponry and things of that nature, and he knows his stuff. So anyway, this website I'm looking at is the Nanticokes and the Chicon Village Project. Again, that's CHICON. And I'm going to read a little bit here. It says, the Nanticoke Historic Preservation Alliance is proud to honor the Eastern Woodland Native people of Delmarva by constructing and maintaining the first authentic replica of a single-family homestead using the materials and techniques available to prehistoric people around 1600s. Now that that longhouse is complete, a wattle fenced garden has been installed and is planted each summer with plants appropriate to a garden of the native people. In 2016, our village volunteers have completed a lean-to work shelter to even further enhance this project. The Chicon, I think it's pronounced Chicon. The Chicon village at Hansel may be visited at any time during the daylight hours year-round. So anyway, I was able to go take a look at that, and that was very, very interesting. And I actually took a picture of some of the flowers that were planted and things of that nature. And I saw this one plant, and I was like, I've never seen this plant before. So let me show you guys. That may not be a great picture from your angle, but yeah, that's better. That's the flower that I saw. And also, that's pretty cool. So they strategically planted these flowers and vegetables and things of that nature. So to me, that was a highlight of the whole weekend, was to take a tour of this preservation. And what I'll do is I will put the link in the description box. And even though no one's chatting with me right now, I'm going to also put that in the comment box so you can check out the website if you're interested in it. But yeah, I definitely got something out of that. That's me. I want to be able to learn from other groups of people as well. I didn't know much about them, and so I had an opportunity to learn more about them, and I'm thankful. And again, this is Eastern Shore, Maryland, not too far from Ocean City. It was about, I want to say it was maybe 30 minutes or 35 minutes southeast of Cambridge, which is the birthplace of Harriet Tubman. I think I mentioned that before to you guys. I didn't have a chance to go to her birth site and everything like that this time around. I've been before. It was just pretty much going through Cambridge. And that was a really bad accident on our way down in that town Saturday. And it was so hard trying to get around, the accident. But anyway, we got there, and being I'm not really into powwows like that. The first day, usually it takes me a while to kind of warm up to new surroundings or whatever like that. So I kind of blamed it on myself that I didn't feel like this was my place or this is where I want to camp out, or I definitely want to come back here again. No, I didn't get that connection. Not saying it was a horrible powwow or anything like that. I just didn't have a connection to that particular group. One of my buddies, I'm not close to her, but I've gotten acquainted with her. She is Nanticoke. And she lives in Delaware, I believe. So she drove down. And if you look at a map of Maryland and you see Delaware right there, I mean, literally, she said it only took her like an hour, 15 minutes to get to that powwow. So it wasn't that far for her. But she's Nanticoke from Delaware. And so I chit-chatted with her a little bit on Sunday. It's funny because on Saturday, the vibe, as far as the interaction with the spectators as well as the dancers, because it seemed like there were more dancers on Sunday than it was on Saturday. Saturday, it seemed like the crowd wasn't as energetic than on Sunday. However, I did notice there were more children on Sunday that attended. And there were a few more dancers. But apparently there was a powwow going on in Pennsylvania, which my associate, like I said, that's from Delaware, she said if she would have went to that powwow, it would have been a 4-hour drive for her. Again, somewhere in Pennsylvania. But apparently a lot of people around her way went to that powwow. So that could be the reason why there weren't that many dancers. Could have been other reasons. And I'm not in a particular position to have an opinion about the Nanticokes and the band of Nanticokes called the, what do they call themselves? It's a tongue twister for me, or at least for me it is. What is the name again? It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, Nasi Waywash. Yeah, Nasi Waywash. So, yeah, I'm not in a position to have an opinion about the Nanticokes and the Nasi Waywash band that descend from the Nanticokes. I'm not in a position to have an opinion. I've heard a few things sound real familiar, but I'm not. I really don't. I don't have enough. I haven't had enough interaction to have a concrete, relevant opinion about the two groups. Let's just put it that way. But you can always look up Nasi Waywash band of the Nanticoke, and you can also look up Nanticoke. And there's a ton of YouTube videos out there about the Nanticoke people. Because I did want to freshen up on, a little bit of information about them, because I've met plenty of them, obviously. I know several of them. And I just would say, oh, the natives up north. Oh, the natives up north. Oh, okay. Oh, you're, Lenape or whatever. Or you're a Lenape. Or, it's like in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, natives up north. And I never really kind of like taken the time to get to know their tribal history. So shame on me, right? I went to a powwow and didn't know much about the people. I should have did my homework. Hi, Meatsack. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for commenting. You're the first one and maybe the only one during this live video to communicate with me, but that's okay. I hope you're doing well. And yeah, I hope you're counting your blessings, and how we all should be counting our blessings. So anyway, so this video, I don't know if you just chimed in or you've been watching the past 14 minutes, but I was just giving my I guess my opinion about, well, no, that's not opinion. I would say my experience at that powwow this past weekend. Now, the powwow that I've been looking forward to for the past 2 years, and it's finally coming, is the Nottoway Indian Tribe of Virginia. Their powwow in Surrey, Virginia. Surry, Virginia. Is this weekend. This weekend. So I'll definitely be in the building this weekend. But I am going down to Outer Banks Sunday. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be at the powwow Sunday or leave the powwow and go that directly down to Outer Banks afterwards. I don't know. But the Nottoway powwow is this weekend. So all of my peeps, well, not all of my peeps, but most of my peeps going to be at the powwow. So I'm excited about it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Nottoway powwow. And there's two tribal groups. There's the Cherokee people, and then there's the Nottoway Indian tribe of Virginia. I'm referring to the Nottoway Indian tribe of Virginia group. That's the group that I'm referring to. Whenever I go to their powwow, and I feel like I'm a broken record when I say this, but it's all from a good place. It's home. It's home. That's just all I can say. It's just home. It's not a big fancy powwow or anything like that. But there is connection there, as far as the energy. There is definitely a connection. And from day one, and I actually was invited to their powwow a few years back by a fellow YouTuber who I don't see her as much now, but she knows who she is if she's watching or will ever watch this. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I've always had a special, there's always been a special place in my heart for your community. So I thank you. I thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate your people. I appreciate the energy that you guys share with everybody. I love it. So anyway, thank you. Thank you for reaching out to me via YouTube. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I'm assuming she's going to be there along with her brother and a truckload of other people that are either Nottoway or they are linked to the Nottoway, be it through friendship, maybe through ancient or historical connections, things of that nature. So anyway, I'm excited about it. Very much so. I might even go out in a circle during intertribal and, wear my shawl, whatever like that. I think what I'll do is I will also do some footage or whatever and post it on YouTube. So I think I will do that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get down there for a grand entry on Saturday. However, if I do go on Sunday, then I'm sure I'll be able to get the grand entry. But typically on Saturdays, there are more dancers, there are more spectators. So, it is what it is. But I'll go ahead and I'll record so you guys can get a little taste of the Nottoway powwow. Okay, so next thing is there is going to be a powwow in Philly. I may or may not have mentioned that one because I wasn't sure if I was going to go, and I'm still not sure if I'm going to go. I think there's going to be a familiar energy at that particular festival as well. They do have an event Facebook page, and let's see. I'm just going to give you guys a little bit more information about it. And again, I may or may not be there. I'm not sure yet. But it is in October. And let's see. I believe it's October the 12th. Yeah. It's Indigenous Peoples Day, Philly 2019, Penn Treaty Park. And it's off of North Delaware Avenue. And it says, join us on this historical date with the Lenape, on whose ancestral land we stand, and with the Taino Tanks people, who are the first indigenous peoples of the Americas to resist colonization. Tongue-tied. And celebrating the multi-ethnic community of indigenous peoples of the Americas living in Greater Philadelphia. So the featuring drum groups, we have drum group and dancers. We have the Nanticoke Lenape people. I mentioned them before. Taino Council Guatumacu Borican. Campo Telanesi. That's Danza Azteca del Anahuac. I'm sure I butchered that. Dignitaries will be Mark Good, chief of the Nanticoke Lenape tribe. And I apologize in advance if I mispronounce this chief's surname. It's spelled Gould. Tai Peli Tanks, or Tainix, Tainx, Indigenous Human Rights Activists. Okay, I'm all about human rights, baby. So I'm gonna have to look this person up. Performers, we have Vonda Hilton, dancer drummer, Tachin storyteller, Richie Olivera, Andean music, and Lauren Garrett, violist. I have been butchering every last one of these people's names. My apologies. And so I know a few people that are going to be actually involved in this powwow. So I may go to this one. It's at 11 a.m. Saturday, October the 12th. So I might go to that one. There's a lot of things going on in Indigenous American Day. That's what I choose to call it. Some people call it Columbus Day, but I choose to call it Indigenous Peoples Day. So there's a lot of things going on that day. For instance, at the National Museum of the American Indian, I'm sure there's a ton of things going on that day. Major cities like New York City, I'm sure they have something big going on. So there's been a few states that have changed Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. Let's see. Okay. So 4 states also officially celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day instead of Columbus Day. It's Alaska, Minnesota, Vermont, and South Dakota, which calls it Native American Day. I feel like there's like 1 or 2 more states that hi Linda Drake. Hi, how are you? New Orleans, Nowlands. I feel like there's other states or cities, because I think in Arlington, Virginia, they've officially changed it to Columbus Day, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Again, Wikipedia is not always accurate, but I'm looking at Wikipedia, and let's see. Observing locations. According to Wikipedia, the locations that observe Indigenous Peoples Day instead of Columbus Day. Let's see. Tompkins County, New York, West Hartford, Connecticut, and Lawton, Oklahoma. Well, I think they may celebrate both, I think. But anyway, I'm gonna just name some states just off the top of my head. I mean, just off the top of this list. There's California, there's, well, let me go to the most recent one. I'm not gonna read all of that. Okay, in 2019, the areas that adopted Indigenous Peoples Day instead of Columbus Day: New Mexico, Maine, Marathon County, Wisconsin, Vermont, South Lake Tahoe, California, and not Arlington, but Alexandria, Virginia. That was just recent because I saw an article about that. I think last week. I think. Let me see. Alexandria. I'm like, good, because you do have a lot of people who have relocated to the DC metropolitan area for jobs, and they're actually Indigenous American people in high places, and I've met a few. And so a lot of them live in Northern Virginia, which that's where Alexandria, Virginia is located. So there's probably was a really big push. Yeah, it was September the 11th, either the 11th or 12th is when this was announced. So it was announced on NBC, all over the place. Local channel, they call it W Top. That's a DC channel. I want to say that's, but it's local to the. If you guys want to check out that article, and then I'll probably put it in the description box as well. Can you guys hear me? Because I just talking about my internet connection. So type something if you can actually still hear and or see me. I just got a little notice. So, okay. Okay, good. Thank you, Mizak. Did I pronounce that right? Mizak. Mizak, M-I-Z-Z-A-C. Okay. Okay, you can see me, but your screen is freezing, Linda Drake. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay, good. Perfect. Well, I did get a notification, and I don't think, usually you don't get a notification. You just be running your mouth, and then nobody can hear you. So anyway, okay, back to what I was saying. So I just posted an article for you guys if you want to check it out. This article is via a local news in the DC area about Alexandria, Virginia, and recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day. So that is definitely a big deal. Definitely. Mizak said, I saw the Nottoway Indigenous Peoples Day powwow advertised. Good. Good. I don't know where you're located, but it's not like I said, it's not a very big, heavily attended powwow with prize money and things of that nature. It's a traditional gathering, if you want to call it that. But at the same time, they're good people. I love being there. I feel like I'm part of the family. And so if that's the kind of environment that you want to be in, and the energy you want to be in, versus, prize money powwows. And I know the difference between traditional and competition, because usually competition powwows is, the energy there is very competitive because it's a competition. So a lot of people are on their A game. A lot of people ain't doing a whole lot, goofing off or whatever, because they're there to compete. Versus a traditional powwow when, it's a bit more laid back, and, people may be saying under their breath, oh, he's not wearing the right whatever, or she ain't on beat. But it's not a competition, so who cares, right? So Nizak says, New Jersey, Byway, New York City. My family from South Boston. Wait a minute. Are you talking about South Boston, Virginia? Halifax County, Virginia? Is that what you're talking about? Because I know there's a Boston up north, but then there's a South Boston in Virginia. Oh my God, this is a small world. My mom lives in South Boston. I don't know how long she's gonna uh, be there because she moves every few years or whatever. But yeah, she lives in South Boston now. Yeah, wow, it's a small world. Well, um, because I'm born and raised in Mecklenburg. Well, let me take that back. I was born in South Boston because that was the closest hospital. Well, let me take that back. If you're familiar with Mecklenburg County, there's a hospital in South Hill, right off of the 85, right? Interstate 85. But I wasn't born there. So I don't know if that hospital was there when I was born, but I ended up going to South Boston. I was born at the regional hospital there. So I was born in Halifax County, Virginia, but raised in Mecklenburg and lived in Mecklenburg. So that's funny. Yeah. Okay. Well, welcome family, because you never know. Might be some relations there or relation there. Okay. So, okay, your father's side. Okay. Yeah. It's funny when I meet someone who is from that region, because it is a small world. But when you kind of moved away and you know these people from all over the world, especially New York City, DC, Baltimore, LA, major cities, right? New Orleans. It's like when you actually meet somebody from your own region where you're from that's not big and fancy or whatever, it's funny because even like during holidays when people travel to visit their family or whatever, it's a lot of traffic. You know why? Because they're going home. And home is typically for people that have been living here for 3, 4, 5 generations, right? They have a strong roots here. I'm not talking about indigenous American people right now. I'm just saying everybody else. So when they go home, typically they're going down south because their tree, as far as kind of most recent within the last 2 or 3 generations, is from the south. And you wonder why. Why is that? Right? Anyway, I just had to say that. But yeah, my dad's side of the family is from North Carolina. My mom's side of the family is from Virginia. So that's how all that worked out. So yeah, I think my dad was raised in North Carolina. And then I think because that region of Virginia and North Carolina called Palmer Springs, it weaves in and out of, both states, right? But that Palmer Springs area, my dad's people are from, be it Virginia or North Carolina, because, they kind of bounced around because that was the region that they were from. Nice. 7+ generations. Good. Yeah, definitely my indigenous American ancestry is deep, okay? Deep on this land. And I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. A lot of times when you're doing genealogy and, there's something missing as far as what's written, be it on paper or chiseled on the wall somewhere, a lot of times your answers that you're looking for, the connections that you're looking for, is spiritual. And when you are seeking that information, and if you're willing to open up to those answers in different ways, then spiritually, in so many words, what I'm saying is spiritually, your ancestors will guide you, and you may not see it on a piece of paper, but the piece of paper, it doesn't matter. It's embedded in your genetics. Your genetics Your ancestors are going to let you know who you are. You just got to be open to it. So, but yeah. Oh, and then I'm going back to the powwow this past weekend. So I did purchase a couple of little things. I purchased this copper bracelet from this one vendor. I've seen him around quite a bit, and I decided to kind of support him or whatever. I mean, I don't know if it's technically copper. He claims it is. I don't know. But the area that I'm from, historically, they did, the indigenous people, they would mine the copper in my region. If you are familiar with Roanoke Island in North Carolina, and the Lost Colony and everything like that, apparently some of these historians and specialists, I should say, they came up with this documentary that Virginia, the Roanoke River, and then they didn't specifically say what town or what area there was in Virginia, but I know my land. I know where I come from. I know my home, and I know what it looks like on a map. And when they showed it, I was like, oh, that's my home. Right? So they even talked about the copper minings and stuff, and they was showing like old copper mining like entryways of that area that kind of caved in or whatever, but there's a way that archaeologists can figure out like what was there. And I would see them all the time. I just thought it was, you know, a dip in the ground when I used to play out in the woods and stuff. I used to see them all the time. And apparently they were copper mines once upon a time. They were copper mines. So yeah, anyway, so I want to get back into wearing jewelry that links to my connection, my ancient connection. Copper is one of them. Copper has wonderful benefits as well. Let me see. Copper. So for instance, I'm just going to a website. I'll go ahead and put this link in the description box for you guys. That's a chat box right now for y'all that are watching right now. But it says copper, the health benefits of copper is an essential nutrient for the body. Together with iron, it enables the body to form red blood cells. It maintains healthy bones, blood vessels, nerves, and immune function, and it contributes to iron absorption. Sufficient copper in the diet may help prevent cardiovascular disease and osteoporosis too. That's more of the clinical aspect of it, modern medicine. Let's see. I'm trying to find something else that's a little bit more ancient. Oh, what I want to do too, guys, I want to actually purchase water canisters made out of copper. I've been reading a little bit up on that as well. Okay, here's another strong.com copper, more, I guess you could say ancient. Okay, I'm gonna put that also in the chat box for you guys. So the use of copper bracelets, which this apparently is supposed to be, centers on reducing the joint pain and stiffness associated with rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis. For believers, this translates into more freedom of movement and joint flexibility. Although worn on the wrist, manufacturers report that the bracelets are beneficial to stiff joints throughout the entire body. This necklace that I'm wearing with this beautiful pendant, labradorite, is wrapped in copper. And this is a copper chain. And these earrings that I've been rocking for a while, the same stone, and it's wrapped in copper. So my thing is, I want to be copper from head to toe. Also, it says, let's see, researchers, healing properties of copper bracelets, attributing their benefits to the body's absorption of trace minerals into the bloodstream through a process called transdermal micronutrition. They explain that micro minerals of iron and zinc present in the copper combine with sweat on the skin. From there, the body absorbs these minerals, and if the patient was deficient in these minerals to begin with, he may now feel better. So joints, blood, and whatever minerals that you may be lacking or whatever. So but yeah, so anyway. So I think this weekend when I go to the powwow, I'm going, because I think this particular powwow, I do remember a couple of vendors that was selling a lot of copper. And at that time, I wasn't really paying attention. It comes from a shell that has purple in it, and once you turn it into a jewelry or whatever, then they call it wampum. And I wear this all the time. It's a beautiful purple color. Of course, this is sterling silver. It's not copper, but I love wampum. Purple is my favorite color anyway. So I still wear it, even though this is silver and this is copper. I don't care. But yeah, so like I said, powwows have their place. Like I said, you can go there to socialize, see people you haven't seen in a while that's kind of on the same wavelength, and all that gravy. But I just don't go to powwows as often as I used to because I've met a few people that are on my wavelength, and we're into crystals and spiritual things, and we go on marches and we do rallies, in particular in the DC metropolitan area or the Baltimore metro area. So powwows again has had its place in my life, but powwows, how should I put this? I do not live for powwows. Like, to me, there's more to being who you are than going to powwows all the time. That's great to get to know people and get connected that way, especially before social media, right? But now, not so much. So I may possibly go to Philly. There's a powwow in Maryland in October near the Patuxent River. There's several in the month of November, obviously, right? I know there's one in Richmond, Virginia. It's hosted by someone with a surname Richardson, and he is Hollow Saponi. And I think most of the people that go to that particular powwow in Richmond are Hollow Saponi. I won't be going to that one, but it is in November. And that's a pretty well-attended powwow. I'll probably go to the Baltimore powwow in November. Not sure yet. And there's some other things going on. But as far as powwows, that's really all that's on my radar right now. So anyway, so I got this bracelet, right? And then I went to, like, they had some Aztec dancers there, and they also had their vending booth set up. So I went to their booth, and then I picked up a couple of things. I want to say this is frankincense. I'm not sure, but this is for cleansing, spiritual cleansing. You know, you burn it or whatever. And then I got these. You can see. Yeah, I got these. I forgot what you call it, but this is also something you burn, I think. You burn for cleansing. So I need to read up a little bit more about that. Because right now what I'm using to cleanse is sage and Palo Santo sticks. Did I say that right? Let's see. Yeah, Palo Santo. Yeah, Palo Santo sticks. So I've been burning that. I actually love the smell of Palo Santo sticks because it has a hint of frankincense, that smell. It's very soothing. So I have that. Oh, and I also bought this pyramid from the same vendor. Again, the Aztec dancers. And this pyramid is made out of a crystal. And it has like almost like a yellowish kind of color. And I don't know the name of this crystal because the label is in Spanish. It just says crystal pyramid on it. Whatever, but I was told that if you look in this pyramid, you see a circle, which I do see a circle. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can see it inside the pyramid. There's a circle inside there. And what you do is you put your thumb on top of the pyramid and pray or whatever like that. So this is not just decoration. This is I'm looking up crystal pyramids right now.